Okay. Let's see where we at here. Come on. Are you going to work for me? Live. Not coming up live at the moment. Why is it not doing that? Uploads live. Right. Bear with us here, Gary. Right, let's see if this works here. Live here. This might work. Right. Let me know if you got that live link. It should be with you now, Gary.
Nope. That's okay. I got a free bottle of vitamins coming. If I click on this link, no, I don't think I'm going. And air crew interview. All right.
There we go. It seems to be live right now.
I'm live.
Perfect.
And I'm muted.
Yeah, muted. Perfect. Right, bear with us, guys. As you know, we're going to start the live Q&A very shortly. But it just takes me a couple of minutes to get this link out to social media so we can have as many people involved as possible. But yeah, Gary, what's been happening on your end since we last talked? It was actually the 4th of November we spoke last year, which is the 4th of day as well.
Yeah. Not much else has been going on. It's just, boy, here last 2 weeks ago, it was pretty touchy because Texas had all that Arctic air come in and it shut the whole state down.
Oh, so wow.
That was pretty bad. We lost power. Lots of people had their pipes burst. It was pretty bad, to say the least. But not much else is going on. Still working out at the museum, volunteering at the Fort Worth Aviation Museum, and doing what we can do with all this COVID.
Yeah, I actually saw a couple of people on from your your 2-part interview, that they recognised you. They're like, I thought I recognised that face. So there's a few people that recognised you.
No, that was not me. That was my evil twin brother.
Right. So bear with us, guys, in the comments who are just coming in. It's going to take a few minutes.
Hello, Elaine. Hey, thank you, Elaine. Wish I could see you and say hi. It's great to see you again. Looking forward to going through this. Thank you, Elaine. You're very kind.
But yeah, why get this out to social media? So how was your Christmas and how was your New Year?
That's right, boy, Christmas was pretty spectacular. We got some cool stuff. I got some cool stuff, and things are okay, which is pretty amazing considering all the things that are going on in the world. It's okay. I'm enjoying retirement. It's interesting because you still spend money, but there's no money coming in. So yeah. It's like retirement. Financial planner, don't fail me now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you kind of go, whoa. So anyway, he says I should have enough money till I'm 93 or 94. Well, heck, I won't even know who I am by then, so that's okay.
But yeah, so
I'll take it.
Exactly, yeah.
Having fun. Bought a little sports car convertible, so having fun driving that thing around, and everything's hanging in there. So I'm pretty thrilled. How about you? How are you doing? You guys are locked down out there. Holy cow!
Yeah, there's a new plan coming out, so hopefully things are going to be okay by mid-April, and then after that we'll see. But there's it's a roadmap, so there might be some traffic lights and crashes in the way. So fingers crossed, because I want to get back out with the camera and film again. So fingers crossed.
And we want you. so we can see it. Yeah, we definitely want
Exactly,
you
yeah.
to. Yeah, I mean, it's okay looking at your face, but I'd rather see the jets. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Of course, yeah. But yeah, so why I get this out to social media, guys, get your questions coming in. But I'm going to do a quick introduction for Garry if you don't already know him. We did a two-part series last year, but Gary's a former OV-10 and F-15C pilot, so he got best of both worlds there. And he's had an incredible career, and you guys seem to really enjoyed the two-part series and also the last Q&A, which we did in November. So on the comments there, just get the questions coming in so we can start this live Q&A. We're going to go on for about an hour, and Gary's going to obviously pick answer your questions, and we're hopefully going to really enjoy the hour. But I'm going to start one off, Garry. Have you had any repercussions from any F-14 guys from the chat we? Because I've seen a few comments online.
Well done, well done. It's funny because out at the museum we have an F-14. We don't have an F-15. We have an F-14, and so whenever turkey pilots would come out, we would always engage in a little tit for tat type things, and it's a lot of fun. It really is. It's I really enjoy talking to the other pilots and bragging a little bit, and getting under their skin, and they get under my skin, and that's really an enjoyable thing. I would imagine it's similar to football fans where you guys are. That it's always like to rib each other whose team is actually better. So I would say that is a lot of fun. Elaine said that she read last week that the USAF recently discovered it could strap a 7,500 pound bomb, 7,500 pounds. Whoa, that's a big bomb. Good news is I never flew the Bomb Eagle, never flew the Bombcat either. That's what we call the Tomcats. And you have to ask the Mud Hens those questions. I have no clue about dropping bombs from an F-15. And I think the Argentinians on the OV-10. I think that's going to be a good airplane. That's that Jazz just wrote in there. And was the OV-10 really susceptible to ground fire from Aeroflip? Aeroflip, yeah. He the most terrifying aircraft ground thing was the Zeus 23-4, and that'll kick your butt. And the aircraft was the Hind helicopter. If we were OV-10s in Europe, those were our big ones. They're dangerous. Aeroflip was the OV-10. Yes, it was really susceptible to ground fire. Sorry. And that's why we stopped using that. I don't know if that's why we stopped using the OV-10 then. I think maybe age was a big deal. And the Air Force really doesn't like to do close air support. They're just not in the business like the Marine Corps are. The Marine Corps is. The Marine Corps is all about supporting the troops. Whereas the Air Force, it's my opinion is that they really don't do a good job on close air support. Zen, this is in your interview you mentioned the Hornet. Yes, the Hornet was very tough for me because we never saw it, and so out there in the Far East when the Hornet showed up, it was a brand new airplane. I don't know what it is like today. I imagine everybody's figured everything out. But yeah, we would exploit the vertical, both of us would, and the slow fight. That's where you got hurt. That's where you got hurt. At least for me, when we fought the 18s, we got hurt in the slow speed. If you stayed fast, you're going to probably be okay. 67 Tomcat. What do you think is of the new EX? I think that the new EX. I don't know if it's a replacement for the C models, but the EX is definitely something we need. I totally agree with bringing that bad boy on because just the armament it can carry and it can deliver that stuff into the battlefield very accurately. For me, the C models were all air to air. That's all we did was air to air. So I can't really speak much to it just because I don't have that kind of experience. But from everything I've read, yeah, the EX is definitely what we need, especially since the other aircraft, the F-35 can't do its job as well. Elaine, not dropping bombs to transport bombs, the newer bomb. Okay. Let's see. What's the standard operating procedures during an enemy raid on airfield? Whoa, that's interesting. Man, that's a great question. We did a lot of work with that in Europe, um, in that we wore chem gear and we had masks and the whole 9 yards, and we played jumping into bunkers and everything else when simulated attacks. Back then, you got to understand that was in the early 80s. The Canadian F-104 guys would attack the airfield during our exercises, and they'd bring eight, 10 104s in and do a simulated airfield attack, and you jumped quickly to get out of the way. Then it says here, was your four ship the basic tactical formation? Yes, everywhere. At least when I flew in the Air Force, the four ship is the tactical formation, and everywhere I went, that's where we used it, and we could easily target out BVR. That was not a problem for us, especially in the F-15, because we could see so far away. And then you would target with the radar missile, and then you would slave the heat seekers over. Remember, we didn't have the new stuff. We were still flying with AIM 7 mics, which are all gone now, and AIM 9 mics. So it was a little bit different way back then. Let's see, what else have we got here? I left when the Su-27s and MiG-29s were leaving, so I can't help you. Sorry on the intel about those things. Have you had? I like that. Zen says, have you had a chance to sit in the modern F-15s? No, unfortunately, when I left in '88, that was the last time I got to sit in a fighter cockpit. So I have no idea. I've seen the pictures, but have absolutely no clue. No, I did not fly in a Desert Storm. I was already gone. A couple years I was with the airlines when Desert Storm, Zen, I'm sorry, 67 Tomcat, was reading about some MiG killers from Kadena. Yeah, I think, is my memory, I think we got two of them. Did we get two? I can't, God, but I remember, and I think they were the 67th that got them. Gosh, my memory's just not there. Hey, Freck, how you doing? Did you ever do any visual intercepts, Zen, in the Eastern Bloc MiGs when I was in Europe? No, because I flew the F-15 in the Far East, and we would intercept North Koreans. That's who we intercepted a lot. Did you ever go on exercises with our NATO air forces? Yes, we did that a lot when I was in Europe in the OV-10, trying to do a close air support scenarios. Worked with Belgium F-16s. I can't think. Germans, we worked with the Germans a lot. Obviously, we were in West Germany, so that's who we worked a lot with. And I can't remember after that. I know it was Belgium, Spanish. I think we worked with some Spanish jets too. And of course, we worked with A-10s out of Bentwaters. We worked a lot with the A-10s. Let's see, what else have we got here? What is your favorite weapon on the F-15? First, it's got to be the gun, because we carried 940 rounds of 20 millimeter. That thing's great. And then the heat-seeking missile. Man, I'm telling you what, those AIM 9 mics were really sweet. And that's way, way, way back. That's 20, 30 years ago. That was the technology I was flying. The AMRAAM was a new concept. It was a brand new idea. Jazz says, do you recall what happened in South America with the F-16s downing an OV-10? No, I didn't even know that. Dude, Jazz, I didn't even know that happened, of the F-16 down an OV-10. Holy cow. Oh, no, wait a minute. Maybe I did. Man, something happened. You're right. what Freckle Punny says, what would be the best way to evade an F-15 and an OV-10? It's really cool. When I was in Kadena and we deployed to Clark Air Base in the Philippines, the OV-10s had come in from Korea, South Korea, and they were doing a close air support, what's called a Cope Thunder, the Pacific's version of Red Flag. We had this big, huge war games, and all these airplanes were doing it. And so they brought the F-15s to simulate the modern Russian fighters. And so we would be the red air. That's all we were, red air. And we'd try and find the bad guys or the good guys. We were the bad guys. And I really wanted to find an OV-10. I really wanted to find an OV-10 so I could get gun camera film on my VHS tape. That's way back before you guys. Big 3/4 inch tapes. Woo, that's old. Anyway, I never found the OV-10s. They're flying low and doing whatever an OV-10 does whenever we flew low to the ground, and I never saw it. I found the A-10s, and we got to fight the A-10s in a real turning type dogfight. And I found a C-130, and it just could not shoot it because it's just too close to the ground. But I never found the OV-10s. I never had. So it was like, that's good to know. That's really good to know that I never found the OV-10s. Glam One, thanks for your time. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Did you ever manage to get your revenge on those clock cleaning hornets? Dude, that's a great comment. Unfortunately, I don't remember if I got my revenge. I just remember getting my clock cleaned. That was yuck. Yeah, I love it. Nice comment, man. Nice comment. I know we beat them, but dude, I don't remember that. But I do remember getting hosed. Oh gosh. How vulnerable was the OV-10 to AAA? Very, very in Europe. Like I said, the Russian-made ZSU-23-4, that quad on a tank tracks. Golly, that was an awful weapon. That would eat our lunch. We had no defense against it, absolutely none. So you didn't want to find it. There's a video of an F-16. You know, I'm gonna have to go look at that video. Thank you, Zen. I'm gonna go check it out after this. Lidall says, what squadrons did you serve in? In Europe, I was in the 704th TAS. We were out of Simbach, Germany, West Germany, about an hour south of Frankfurt. And then we brought the airplanes back to the States. So I flew for about 9 months in a newly founded 27th TAS, because they combined the two squadrons from Europe. And then I went through the second training wing and to get ready to the F-15, and then I flew in the 44th Attack Fighter Squadron out of Kadena, the Bats. We did really, really good in World War II. As a matter of fact, 3 of our guys launched against the Japanese Navy out of Pearl Harbor when they attacked them. So the 44th's got a pretty good history. And they got a MiG kill in Vietnam from an F-105, which that's impressive. So yeah, I was out of the 44th. Great squadron. The Vampires are a great squadron. Great squadron. Did you, 67 Tomcat says, did you ever carry any passengers in the cargo hold? No, we did not. The Marine Corps flew with Special Forces in their cargo hold, and they would take them and deploy them all the time, drop them out. I think it's 4, carry 4 or 5 fully dressed paratroopers, and you fly in low, and of course the doors were moved, and they pull the airplane straight up, and they're all going to fall out and do their parachuting thing, and then you kind of do a hammerhead turn like this and fly off and return to the base. The Marines did it all the time. Says, do you think that the EX has a place in the Indian Air Force? That I do not know. I am ignorant of what's going on with the Indian Air Force, and I apologize. I just don't know, so I can't speak to it at all. So I apologize for that one. It says, can Zen says, can you easily do a double ilm? Yep, did it. Did it. I can do it. Yep, you bet you can. Not a problem. And I did it in the C model, which is even heavier than the A model. Piece of cake. Elaine, how would the F-15 go against the F-16? When I flew them back in the middle 80s, the 16s were just the A model. So the F-16s had an AOA limiter. AOA limiter couldn't get the airplane up much. And so whenever we would pass an F-16, we'd get in a close-in turning fight and just get slow with them. And so we could defeat the F-16s. That's how we would do them in what everyone calls a dogfight. We call it either DACT or BFM, basic fighter maneuvers, or ACM, air combat maneuvering, I think is what the Navy calls it. So for us, taking on the F-16 was not that bad. Was not that as difficult because they were A models. Now, when the C models came out with the gold canopies and the big lips for the big motors, that's a different world. That was a whole different story. Much, much more difficult to fight. And the thing that ticked all of us off is that the heads-up display, our HUD, gave us a shoot cue on the AIM-9s, the heat seekers, because you could shoot them in the face. AIM-9s were so good, you could shoot them, picked up the heat source off the intake. About a half a mile after the F-16s would get a shoot cue for the exact same missile. So it's like, whoa, dudes, wait a minute. No, it's the same missile. How can you do that? But their shoot cue on theirs came a half a mile earlier than ours. So it was really, we were at a disadvantage, a significant disadvantage because of that computer thing. Let's see, who else? Did you ever fly escort missions with C-5 Galaxies? No. Unfortunately, no, I did not. The KC-135 was the only thing I got to go with. How many times did you use your cannon in dogfighting? Use it a lot. We would end up turning the gun on a lot. What's your favorite French fighter? Wow. I'm going to have to think about that. Let me see if I can get back to that. I got to think about that. Brad, yo, dude, is that a Green Bay Packer? All right. Could the OV-10 lose an engine and make it back? Yes and no. If it was just an engine failure, because I had one that I had to shut down the engine and feather it because of an electrical problem. It smelled like fire. Something was burning, and the thing went into overspeed, and it's a big mess. And it was interesting. I could fly, but the airplane kept descending at about 150 feet to 200 feet per minute. So, and that was even after I jettisoned everything. I had 2 rocket pods and a centerline tank. And so, and everybody I've talked to that's lost an engine in an OV-10, the airplane keeps slowly descending. So you got to know where you're going to go pretty quickly because you're going to run out of airspace after a while. The ground's going to start coming up. And that was in the Twente Air Base in the Netherlands. And that's a whole big story I can tell you guys about later on. Oh my God, what an amazing, lucky to be alive. Let's see. Will you be watching Top Gun this summer? Yeah, why not? Why not? Fuel-wise, were the external tanks. Dude, I don't know what it is about these external tanks on the wings, man. I'm old. We just flew with center lines. That's all we need. We just flew with center lines. But they fly with wing tanks. I don't know why. It makes the F-15 look ugly. With max power, how fast could you get to 40,000 feet? Fast. Don't know, YouTuber. I don't remember how long, but it wasn't long. It was great. It was nice. How did the fighters such as Tornadoes and F1s compare to the Eagle? Never got to fight them. Never fought an F1 or Tornado or Tornado. We saw them and they went fast, but never got to fight them. Wish I had, because I was in Europe in the OV-10, so I didn't get to fight these guys. Would have been cool if they had some of them in the Far East. It looks like Yvonne says, and I'm Apologize for mispronouncing it. Does the F-15 have a good range? Yes, it had great range. We could do a lot just on the center line, and you put 2 wing tanks on it, and we could go a long way. And that's probably why they're flying with wing tanks, is for the range. Ugh. Tomcat, did you enjoy your time in Japan? Yes, I did. Did you get a chance to see the country? Yes, I did. And the Summer Olympics in 1988 were there, so I got to go to some of the Olympics. So it was cool. That was cool. Freckle Penny, which do you think is the spiritual ancestor or successor to the P-51? It's obviously the Eagle, because the F-15 had the same canopy. That's where they designed the canopy on the Eagle, was from the P-51. So there, any of you Vipers out there, yeah. So there, Vipers. Vipers just a target. That's all an F-16 is a target. I know I'm going to they're going to talk to me about it, but that's okay. Arrow Flip 97, how you doing? Did you ever train with the Japanese F-15s? Yes, I did. That was pretty cool. We got to go to Chitose as, I think it was 2-week deployment. Yeah, it's 2-week deployment. What a great place up there in the northern part of Japan. And the JASDAF, they were doing some big, huge exercise, and I can't remember what the name of it was, Cope something. Anyway, so we got to live with the Japanese fighter pilots and hang out with them and fly with them. And I was fortunate enough to get a backseat ride in one of their D models, which DJ models, I guess what it is. And I will tell you this about the Japanese pilots. Those guys are so smooth. We did intercepts or whatever it was in the weather, because the weather was terrible. And those guys can fly a smooth jet. I was, wow, these guys can fly. Man, their instrument skill set, holy cow, I was never as smooth as that. These guys are good. Let's see, what else have we got here? Did you fly any simulated missions against Moscow? No, we did not. No, we did not. I didn't, because that was all in the 80s. We didn't do any of that. Sylvester, he asked, have you ever run pump gas in a Bronco? Yes. Yep. Climbed up on top of the wing and fueled it just like you would a car. Yep. And then you had a little tool kit, like a large screwdriver edge thing, and you would pop the cowlings and you put it in the little slot in the engine, and you dial wherever you're taking, JP4, JP8, whatever it is, and you dial it in so the engine knew whatever gas that was. Don't ask me, I'm not a mechanic. I just did what I was told. But yep, I've pumped my gas. Let's see. Emmett Hand, if you could take an F-15 or an OV-10 out for the day, I'd take an F-15 for sure, but if it was unavailable, I'd definitely take an OV-10. Those two airplanes, wonderful aircraft, both of them, and they do what they're supposed to do so bloody well. Oh my gosh. Templar 7832, how you doing? I was wondering if you ever watched a test flight. No, I did not watch the test flight on the EX, but I'm thinking it's going to be a pretty good. Zen, did you train? Your training ever include checklist for landing if the airplane lost an entire wing? Nope, because guess what? You got to figure it out as it happens. That's just the way it is. That guy who did that and brought that airplane back, that's pretty dadgum good pilot. Glam One Gaming. Following Jen's question above, how did your combat longer range missiles like the Iranians? Dude, I don't know, because we didn't look at any of that stuff. We just did. Out back in the 80s, it wasn't in there. I mean, the AIM-7 was great, but we trained. See, we didn't go anything with the Iranians because we're in the Far East. We just didn't do anything with them. Let's see. What's the next question? Freckle Penny, which Soviet fighter did you respect the most? this is going to sound weird. This is going to sound way off the chart that from what most people think. But I'm here to tell you that you didn't screw around with the MiG-21s. And again, we're talking in the 80s, so all the new aircraft are maybe just coming online in Europe. We're not seeing any of them. We're in the Far East, so we're dealing with China and North Korea and some of the Russian stuff, but not really, because Russia's pretty far off where we are. And there were so many MiG-21s in North Korea that, man, you just did not screw around with them. I got to run against two MiG-21s during the Summer Olympics that was going on, and you respected these guys. The sheer numbers of airplanes that are coming at you. There's a reason why the F-15 had 8 missiles, and our check rides at the time, you had to deliver at least 5 kills, simulated kills, just to pass your tactical check ride, because there was so many aircraft, and the MiG-21 could turn because the F-5Es, those things are great simulators on the MiG-21. They were great simulators, and you learned a lot about how to maneuver the jet in the vertical, how to get out of the horizontal and do the vertical stuff, and it was a wonderful training aid, and you just didn't screw around with MiG-21s. People may disagree, but that's my personal opinion, That was, I really respected them. What's the longest mission you flew in an F-15? It was from Kadena all the way to Korat, Thailand. I think it was a 6.5-hour flight. That's a long time in an F-15. How was the gun sight on the Broncos for shooting rockets? It was just a basic iron sight that lit up, on the heads-up display. It didn't move, didn't do anything, and you just had to do it the old school way, like a rifle or a shotgun with a bird. You had to do it the old school way and figure it out. Let's see. Yes, Zen. Yes, I've got the book back in my library. Yes, I have read Robert Shaw's book. Great book. That was a cool book. I read that one just to kind of get a clue of what the heck was going on as I knew things were going on. I liked his book. It was a good book. If already declassified, Alexander Batter, what is the maximum range on the Eagle could get out of the AIM-7? I don't know. I don't remember. Dude, I'm in my 60s, man. And I was flying those when I was in my 20s. I can't remember. I don't know. They probably got it. I don't know. Google that stuff. Google's got that. I love it. I have no idea, but we could shoot them a long way. I know that. Any reason why the F-16 wasn't selected for the aerobatic team? Because there wasn't enough politicians in Missouri to be able to push for the F-15 to do it. There's a Thunderbird paint job of it, but it wasn't selected. The 16 was. I guess it's cheaper to run. I don't know. They're pretty boys. They have to do that stuff. They want to look good. I don't know. I'm just going to go do my job. What was the most common payload you flew with? 4x4 by gun. 4 radar missiles, 4 heat-seeking missiles, and the gun, and a centerline tank in the F-15. That's what it was. In the OV-10, it was a centerline and 2 rocket pods. Is it true? Christian says, is it true that F-15s and Su-27s could practice dogfighting back in the day? Once the wall fell between Germany, that's what I figured they did. I understood that's what they did. But I don't know. That was after my time. Let's see. Bilal, and I apologize for mispronouncing. In an air combat, if you have no long missiles and only short-range missiles available, and you're facing MiG-21, will you go and fight them? Hell yeah. I'm never going to go home. I'm going to go fight until either I'm dead or they're dead. In an air-to-air combat, there's no points for second place, and so the other guy's going to die. I will. That's what I'm going to do. I don't care. I've got him on the radar. I can go find him, and I'll kick his ass. That's what I'm going to do. Let's see. Did I interact with the Taiwanese? Dude, I really wanted to do that. One of our guys, our weapons school officer, got to go over there and talk to him, but I never got to go do it. Oh, that would have been cool. That would have been really cool. Zen says, were you discouraged flying from firing missile salvos in order to conserve missiles in a target-rich environment? I only fired a missile when I had a target locked on, and I was clear to kill. That was it. Elaine, did you do any unrestricted climbs? Yep, did them a lot. Oh, the first time I did one when in training at a Tyndall Air Force Base in Florida, you have to do it in a two-seater, because if you don't, you're going to overspeed the gear, and that's because as soon as you light the blowers on an A model and you rotate, the instructor pilot in the back is yelling at you, gear, gear, gear. So you get the gear up, and then by the end of the runway, you're doing about 400, and you have to pull back on the stick, and you go straight up. And let me tell you what, it looks just like Star Wars, where all the stars are sitting there, and you're getting ready to go hyperspace, and whoosh, it's behind you like that. That's exactly what it looked like. And oh man, was I behind the jet. That's why you have an instructor back there. That's why. Ash Little, we unfortunately lost an F-15 last year in the United Kingdom. And yeah, in a red and blue exercise on the sea last year due to poor visibility. Yes. Did you ever come close to a mishap? Yes, I did. Fighting, it was in the Philippines, and it was against either E models or G model, F4Es or Gs. I think they're Es. And I locked the wrong guy. It's just one of those weird things about doing radar locks. And so I was looking. I thought I had the guy. Yeah, you do 2v2. So these people lock each other, and these people lock each other as you're going into a fight like this. And I had unfortunately locked the wrong guy, and so I spent the whole time looking over to find the one that lead was supposed to have, and I never looked straight ahead at the one I thought I had locked. And that airplane, that F4 came across me, and my tails, he was probably maybe 3 feet away from my tails. I mean, his bow wave shook my aircraft, and I mean to tell you, it's the hair stands up on the back of your head just before it happens. And I looked up and saw this massive F4, and yeah, we almost collided. So yeah, it was real close. And air-to-air mishaps happen, air-to-air. Yeah, and it's sad. It really is. It's just one of those things. It's just the nature of the business. Every time you go out and fly, it may be your day. You never know. X-Reeves, nope, I never made it to Lake and Heath. Fought the guys out of Lake and Heath, and 111s, I think, right? 111s are out at Lake and Heath, and I think there was another detachment of A-10s, controlled the A-10s out of there. Lake and Heath's good base, good people in there. What's your favorite BFM maneuver in the Eagle that led to the most victories? As soon as you pass aboard, I go literally just pure straight up, and that's so that while this guy's flying down here, I can roll and do whatever I need to do to see that person and then pull down on them to shoot them. Let's see. Regarding the MiG-21, as Joe Stalin reported, this is Fricklepen, he said, quality has a quality of its own. That is, quantity has a quality of its own. That is a very profound and powerful statement. Very much. Alexander, thanks for the honest answer. I don't sugarcoat anything. I don't sugarcoat jack. Yeah, if you want to know what I think, I'll answer you and tell you exactly what I think. Could you win a rolling scissors? Yep. Yep. You could win a rolling scissors with just the center line. The wing tanks, I never flew. I mean, I flew a deployment with them, but I never fought with wing tanks. I only fought with the center line. Center line is rated for the airplane. You can do anything you want to with the center line. And yep, rolling scissors, a piece of cake. Piece of cake with center line. I don't know jack about the wing tanks. Don't know. Let's see. Zen asked, "How did you keep your occupied while waiting to scramble?" Oh God, that's a great question. Okay, we're back in the 80s. We're in South Korea, Osan, South Korea, and there's not much there. And so I read a lot of books. Hunt for Red October. I remember reading that book and watching reruns of, you gotta love this, I Love Lucy, which most of you probably weren't born when I Love Lucy was on TV, but that's about all they had. It was pretty bleak. Great question. God, that was oh my gosh. Lord have mercy. Yeah, you read a lot of books. Let's see. Christian, you're asking, have you flown with the Israelis? No, I've always wanted to. We got a briefing by the Israelis concerning the Bekaa Valley War in 1983, I think it was. And fascinating stuff. You know, that was it 80 something, 90 something to 0 kill ratio? Dude, you can't get any better than that. That's pretty damn good, man. They know how to fly that F-15. Whoa, do they? My gosh. Let's see, what else? I love it. Glam One Gaming. Did you ever mess with chaff in practice? Could it really screw up a missile shot? Yes. We did not have chaff dispensers. We didn't have flare dispensers at Kadena. We got them after I left. The chaff we had was a little bitty box about this size, okay, and about that thick. And it was paper box, and it was filled with pieces of foil. And you would put two of them, you'd open the speed brake a little bit, and you'd put two of them in the speed brake. Eventually, you'd put one of them real close to the end and one far up, and hoping that you get two of them. But that was it. That's all we got. So we would deploy the speed brake just a little bit, pop the speed brake, and the chaff would dump out, and use that as a defense against a radar-seeking missile. Great question. The new guys, they got everything. They've got all the good stuff. We didn't have it. Let's see. Were pilots of your squadron informed about existence? Oh yeah, we didn't know. We did not know about the 117. We had no idea. The SR-71 was based there. We called it the Habu for the snake that was in Kadena. There's a black snake that was it was like a two-stepper. After you get bit, you got 2 steps and then you're dead. Anyway, it's called the Habu. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what they told us. But the 117, I mean, I didn't know about the 117. We're in OV-10s at George Air Force Base in Southern California, and we do this huge deployment. We're coming back from the deployment, and the crosswinds are out of limits for us to land there. So we go up to Navy China Lake, and we're like, dude, this is cool, man. Then we had like, I don't know, 6 of us, 6 birds, and we're like, Navy China Lake, ooh, cool. This is like test pilot school stuff. So we start walking around, and yours truly turns around in one of these hangars, and there's an airplane that's covered up, and I'm wanting to lift the cover up because I'm a pilot, dude. I've got top secret clearance. I can do whatever I want. I mean, it's just an airbase. No. There are some military police, 2 guys come to see me with M16s, and they say, "Captain, what are you doing?" And I said, obviously something wrong. And they said, "Let's escort you out of here." And I said, "Okay." And you're not allowed to be in the hangar with a classified A7. That's classified A7 was eventually a 117, I was told. So, nope, never knew it. Guess I didn't have a high enough security clearance. My instructor pilot in pilot training in T-38, he went to F4s at Clark, and then he went to the 117. you got to fly that one. So yeah, it was a real interesting. And the SR-71 is way cool, man. That is a heck of an airplane. So classified A7. That's what I knew in the early 80s. Um, have you ever drag raced, Sylvester? You're cool. Have you ever drag raced an F4? No. But that would be fun, I would think. Elaine, what was the scariest flying experience you ever had? When that F4 that I didn't see almost ran me over. I mean, we're 5 feet, maybe, from being space dust. Uh, Boy, that got my heart to go pitter pat. That really, really woke me up. Oh, man. Which was the most uneventful mission you flew on? Most of them were uneventful. We just did what we were supposed to do. Which was more fun, flying BFM, an A or C? C model. C model's radar was better. Uh, I don't know why. Maybe it's because I just had more experience in the C model. But a C model for me, I love BFM and the C model. Spore 77. Yeah, had more gas. You could do more things. I don't know. It just I like the way that the C model handled. Probably if I went back and flew an A model, I'd probably say an A model just because it's lighter. But I love the C's. Oh my gosh. I watched I Love Lucy. Good, X-Res. Then good. You know what good TV is. Stuart, Stuart. Sorry, I've been asked. Do you have a book out yourself? Nope. I wish I was that good. I wish I was that articulate. Wish I had the patience to write a book. That would be impressive to be able to write a book. It takes a lot of work, but thanks. Appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Zen, you're funny. I Love Lucy raises the warrior spirits. Oh, you're kidding. Zen, does the Eagle record the maximum G? Yep. On a mission? Yep. It does. It says, yep. And it records if you've over-G'd the jet. There are certain times that you can, in certain situations, certain quote-unquote over-G experiences that we're allowed to have the crew chief come in and hit some button on some computer that clears it out. But for the most part, nope, that just records it and it's there. And it's on the tape too. It tells you what G's you are. But yes, you can pull up the was it MSD, whatever it was, the multi-situation displays. Yeah, that's it, MSD. And it records the rolling G's and the vertical G's and all that kind of stuff. So it works real good. I love it. What maneuvers, Al, were you taught to escape the SAMs? They didn't have 125s and 300s when I was in. Dude, I am really old. I am old, y'all. I am so old. Regarding the Freckle Penny, the chaff in the F-15 speed brake, I read years ago the Royal Navy did they really? Oh, that's cool. In the belly of their Sea Harrier. Maybe that's where the Air Force got the idea. Did not know that. Awesome. Awesome. Templar 7832. What was your officer training like? Sorry. Let me take a water here. I went through the ROTC 4-year program at Texas A&M, which is called the Corps of Cadets. And so I went through a regular 3-hour classroom every semester in the military science. So mine was more of like a academy type training than somebody who came in from a different university. So I can't really tell you much more than I remember having to go to air science class is what it was called every Monday, Wednesday, Friday for 4 years. Says Reese B. Scott, what is the pod for lack of better term, on the tail. It's classified. I can't tell you. And if I did, I'd have to shoot you. No, I'm just kidding. That is part of our RWR and radar warning receiver, so we can find out if somebody come shoot us, and some other minimal jamming, radar jamming things, but mainly for the RWR receiver. At least that's what I was told. Could be completely wrong. And of course, that was 30, 40 years ago. Anyway, that's my best guess, and I'm sticking to it. Did you fly combat missions at night? Christian, yep, we flew a lot at night. And one of the most terrifying things that happened was night refueling, of all things, because the tanker guy wouldn't come out of the cloud layer we were in and out of clouds, in and out, with the rotating beacon going around and around. So you got all this vertigo going on. And sure enough, when we checked in, there was a flight of RF-4s on the boom, and you heard breakaway, 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 which means the F-4 got too close to the airplane, and they had to get off the boom or they were going to explode. And I remember coming on to the tanker, and typically one goes up the tanker, two sits up here, and then 3 and 4 sit up on this side of the tanker, and I'm number 4. And one gets his gas and comes out, comes up over here. 2 comes down, gets his gas, and 2 all of a sudden just leaves the boom and just goes upside down and loses it. And so 1 goes and chases him, so to save him. So then 3 comes down here to get to the boom, and because it was so disoriented, I was doing this, and before I realized it, I was almost upside down on the wing of a tanker, and boom, I snapped myself out real fast like that, and then I really screwed up my head, and so the internal gyros in my head were all screwed up, and the only way I could come down and get onto the boom underneath here is I had to scream at the top of my lungs to force myself to get on the boom. I took maybe 200 pounds of gas and I was off the boom. I said, I can't do this anymore. So yeah, that was some ugly stuff. Ugly stuff. Let's see. How effective were the countermeasures in the Eagle? Much better, obviously, than the OV-10, just because technology improves, man. Balalis, if I hope I pronounced that right, and I'm so sorry. About the Harrier and the chaff at the Falklands, yeah, that sounds like that's pretty cool. If that's what they did, I like that idea. Let's see. Kilo, near F4 midair. Did you meet the pilot? No, we had no idea who they were. We never. No, it was like, and I think maybe 2. Both of us just wanted to say, okay, no harm, no foul. Let's just pretend this just went away and life is good, and we don't want to highlight ourselves. That may be what it happened at. Or maybe he didn't even see me either. He didn't even know it happened. That's kind of the way it is sometimes, you know. Nope, did not fly an anti-satellite loadout. Nope, that was kind of a weird thing. Or not Spore, I'm sorry, I keep saying that. That's Rome, SPQR 77. What did you think about being an airline pilot? Positive, negatives? I'm enjoying retirement now. It's not really what I would say is fun flying. I would love to have flown fighters for my whole life, but I made a good living doing this, and so I've got a lot of money in the bank to be able to retire on. And so that part of it's pretty good. It pays well. To be honest with you, did you, I love it. Well, did you escort B-52s? Yes. That is so cool because my uncle was a bomb nav on a B-52. My dad was a B-47 pilot. He went on tankers. So yeah, escorting B-52s is pretty cool. And you got to understand, it's so old that back when I flew with them, we flew against them to give the tail gunner practice. That's how old it is. We had tail gunners back then. And so we would give them tail gunner practice, and we'd give the EWO practice because we would be intercepting them. So yeah. SPQR, Rome. Did you remember the stalling speed of the Eagle? It's kind of weird. You know, you have enough power in the F-15 that you really don't really stall. I mean, yeah, you kind of stall, but there's enough power to just keep the thing going. I mean, it's at I can hold level flight at like what is it, 70 knots, 80 knots. So you could just sit there if you had to. So I would say probably that is probably the stall speed, but it's really strange. It's those burners back there put out a heck of a lot of power. So I guess that's what I would say, 70, I guess. X-Rees, what is your word on the R-73R rearward flying missiles? Not a clue. Don't have a single idea. Didn't even know about it till I read it, because that's so far advanced from when I flew fighters. Heck, I'm trying to worry out where's the speed trap here so I don't get a ticket driving my car. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't know a thing. Makes sense, but at the same time, I have no idea. Not a clue. Stephen, my daughter Jasmine would like to fly in the Air Force. Would you recommend it? She's only 7 now. Heck yeah, I would recommend it. Heck yeah, I'm trying to brainwash my grandchildren into being pilots, so that she can, because she's pretty smart. I would. Heck yeah, why not? You know, they've opened up fighters to the lady pilots. So hey, come on, bring it on. If you can fly the jet and you can do the mission, that's all I really care about it. You know, let's just if you fly and fight, that's it. Fly and fight. Let's see. Steven, would you like to have flown the E? Mud hen? Dude, I'm an air-to-air guy. Who wants to fly a mud hen? You know, all you do is beat up the ground. Yes, I would like to have flown the mud hen because that's a pretty cool mission, and you get to do a lot of cool things with it. Then you drop a hell of a bomb load. You're not sitting there orbiting and like the guys did in the Gulf War, sitting there and just orbiting and just in a cap, bored as all get out. So yeah, heck yeah. And plus you can get a chance to get an air-to-air kill. What the heck? Let's see. Freckle Penny, looking at a photo of the OV-10 on Wikipedia, the cockpit has a lot of glass. Yes, it does. Did you get uncomfortable? You bet we did. Yes. Oh my gosh. And we got cold in the winter. I'm not kidding you. The air conditioning, quote unquote, on an OV-10 is you would right where your knees are, you'd pull this lever and this ramp that's about the size of my hand opens up and it's ram air coming in. That's the air conditioning. Oh, and you had a vent up here in the canopy up here. So yeah, that's our air conditioning unit. Yeah, tell me about it. That's why when I went to the Eagle, I went to it and I was going, what do you mean the canopy comes down after the engine starts? That's because the air conditioner works. Because there is an air conditioner.
So
Anyway,
Gary, we've got
question.
we've got about 5 minutes left here. So do you want to
Okay.
pick up about 3 or 4 more questions while we wrap up? That'd be great.
All right, we can do that. Let's see. Glam One Gaming. I love this. Did you remember ever pulling 30 units of AOA? Did you get a compressor stall? Yes, I've gotten a compressor stall, and I'm going to tell you the exact same thing that Chuck Yeager says. If you have to look at the AOA gauge, you don't know what the hell you're doing. So we didn't have an AOA gauge in the F-15 because if you didn't know how to fly the jet, you have no business being there. So all these AOA guys, I'm telling you, it may be different now. But back when I was flying, if you needed an AOA gauge, dude, go sit back in the coffee and get a cup of coffee because we don't need you flying the jet. You know, the heck with you. Of course, I'm probably going to hear about that now. But anyway, let's see. Let's see if I find another one here. Let's see. Max, he's new. I haven't talked to Max. Max Beckett. Sorry, Max. How often did you practice ground strafing in the Eagles cannon? Dude. Okay. When PACAF went in the mid 80s, the PACAF commander said that all airplanes have got to carry bombs. So that meant even us, the F-15s. And so because I was a forward air controller in the OV-10, I was immediately the range control officer out at Iwo, which is this island out in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. And so the guys would have to come in and they'd have to strafe and drop bombs. And the problem is the gun is cannoned about 2 degrees to help for air-to-air kills, because that makes it great. Because you're turning like this, you want your gun pointing out there and shooting. And so there's a problem when you're doing this strafing, that you got to be like this strafing, which is really uncomfortable sometimes, especially when you're close to the ground, to get those bullets to hit the target. So yeah, it makes a big difference. And Marco, MiG-29 Fulcrum forever? Not. F-15C models with center lines, yes. Okay, and then last but not least, Stephen Asprey. When this virus has calmed down, I love it. I'd love to buy you a beer. Heck yeah, buy me a beer. Heck, I'll buy you some bourbon, and you can drink my beer, and I'll drink your bourbon. So that's the way to grill. That's the way to end it, on a bourbon note. Well done.
Oh, what a great Q&A, Gary. Bloody hell, that was absolutely brilliant. There's some great questions and then some great comments. But yeah, Gary, thank you very much for coming on again. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show. And yeah, thank you very much for all you guys coming in and putting your questions to Gary. And yeah, hopefully down the line this year we'll get Gary back on, because he's a great guest. But Gary, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.
A lot of fun. See you, dude.
Cheers, mate.
Check 6. Bye.